Welcome everybody to the first Rarity Found Podcast with me, Jack Townsend.
And me, Mack Davies. And we're just going to be talking about mental health, our journeys, mine and Jack's journeys, the journey through Rarity Found, and a bunch more. So let's begin.
Right, so Mack, let's hear your story. How you...
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning.
So yeah, pretty much just started when I was about 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I was a big nerd, I'll be honest. I was a big nerd. So I was just coding, learning all the website sort of stuff, and then just kind of progressed through that. But I start before that, actually. Let's go a step before. I was doing all YouTube kind of stuff. So
Young entrepreneur.
yeah, video editing, just creating videos, thumbnails, graphics, little graphics on Photoshop, playing around with Photoshop, doing stupid little things like that. And then that kind of progressed into the website sort of stuff. And then I got my first couple of clients through that.
Yep.
And then that led on to a client being like, oh, well, how do I get it out there? What can you help me with that? And I was like, well, I can't right now, but I'm sure I can. So I learned all the marketing to it, all of that kind of side of things. And I really just kind of dived into the world of business as a whole after that, because I was like, I've got these skills. Surely I can use them to my advantage. And I was like 13, 14 at this time. So I knew nothing really. But I was just going with that. Got through clients through the marketing, and then it was just throw myself into the deep end kind of situation. Yeah. Tried to start in my first ever proper business or venture or whatever you want to call it was buying and selling gaming products. And I thought I was the top dog because I was like ordering these products off of like Alibaba and stuff like that, and then like selling them on eBay. Made my own website for it. It got like literally about 5 sales.
Mate, 5 sales is more than none.
Yeah, but it was a good run. Learned quite a lot through that, and then just carried on from there. And then I've always had the mentality of one day I'll have something of my own that I can really push through. That's shows and shows the mission, and I can help other people through it. And then I guess kind of here we are, and that's long story short. There's a lot of other things through that, like summer holidays where I've done sales campaigns for companies and just all this kind of stuff, and alongside that doing school as well, going through all the GCSEs. And then actually came out on top of all of them with A's and A stars, whilst also learning all this other stuff. Yeah, and head boy. Put that one in there. So yeah, it was just a kind of mad journey through high school, because I was balancing all the schoolwork, because I wanted to do well in that, but also trying to build this empire, if you will. I wanted to build all these skills up that I kind of just fell into, but fell in love with. It's one of them. And then literally I was always loved the idea of a clothing brand.
Yeah.
So it actually started off of the gaming brand, as you know, but for the people watching and listening in, Rarity Found before all of this was a gaming organization. We used to do like tournaments and all that kind of stuff. And we ran through all of that. And then alongside, the vision was always to have a clothing brand as almost like merch for it.
For the game.
And then we just kind of got into that and was really pumping in with that. Doing really well, actually. The tournaments, to be honest, were really fun to do and really good, but it was just...
But how old were you at that point?
15, 16. Yeah, so, and we built a team around it as well. Loads of people who just had a common interest. Just wanted to jump in, and it was honestly a really good feeling, but it was just not going to go anywhere at the end of the day. So it was one of them things where it was just, we had to do one or the other, and then of course we met.
Yeah, we did.
And then we cracked on with Rarity Found Clothing from that point, and I've always been big on empowering other people. Even when I was in school, it was, I always knew that the school system just as a whole was never built for entrepreneurs. We all know it. Yeah, it's always going to build for just the workers or whatever it be. So it wasn't like I struggled, but I just knew that nothing that I was learning there was necessarily going to help. So and then we just kind of got cracking with Rarity Found. But that's a little rundown on me, I suppose.
So how did it feel to be a young entrepreneur at 14, 15?
Yeah, it's a good question. It did feel a bit mad. you know, going for meetings with people that you wanted to do work with at 14, 15, and you're turning up and they think you're like 20, and then you're like trying to dodge
that beard alone.
I didn't have the beard then. Jesus, if I had the beard then, God knows what I'd look like now, mate. Oh God, 40 and kids. But yeah, and they're turning up and you're just trying to dodge the age question.
Yeah.
You know, how old are you? And you're just like,
did you ever get the age question?
Yeah. And I was just honest. I was like, oh, I'm 14. And they're like, you're 14? And I'm like, yeah. Or 15 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a mad experience. By that time, I knew nothing compared to what I know now. And it'll be the same when I'm 20, 25, 30, just as it will for everyone. But looking back on it, it was just like, wow, I really was just out there trying to do what I do. And yeah, crazy.
That fair play to you. I mean, when we met through Dad. So my dad, for the people watching, runs a HR firm, and Mack was doing the marketing for my dad.
See how it all links up.
It all links up. And then we got in touch, and then we created Rarity Found Clothing, and we got an investor, and it was all going really well, and it still is. But yeah, that's a good story. It's a good story of how you've got the skills to come up and actually be a young entrepreneur. It's really inspiring for a lot of kids out there, especially.
Yeah, I appreciate that, mate.
I'm completely different.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your story. Who is Jack Townsend?
Townsend, come on now.
Oh, just Townsend, is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we're just Townsend. I'm completely opposite. I was in school, I wasn't a grade student. I mean, you know, I just like playing rugby, and that's the only reason why I like school, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the social side of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a grade student. Then sixth form did sixth form, got shit grades again, and
was it like a thing of you didn't do the work, or what? How come you got shit grades at the end of the day, or was it more of a thing, you know, whatever you was doing wasn't going to help you, or?
I just didn't really try hard, to be honest. I was more like, I wasn't naturally academic. That's it. I just liked playing rugby at that point. I was in the social side. I didn't really. I'm not gonna lie. I did find stuff hard. Yeah. But I wasn't in like the top sets. I was in like the middle sets. It wasn't that that good. But then so the key point, I finished sixth form. And then I decided, because everybody was going to uni, as you said, with the school system. Yeah. It's like uni. And I was just like, it's not for me. Like, if I went to uni, I'd just be drinking. I'd just be an alcoholic, as most uni students are.
Let's be honest.
And other stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, we won't touch on any of that for other people's sake.
But yeah, so I was like, I don't want to follow the herd. Like, I want to go on my own solo journey, and I decided to go to Fiji with Think Pacific. Shout out Think Pacific, and to help the Fijians. So over there, we built a community centre. So they had an earthquake.
Oh wow!
Because Fiji's far out. And we helped them build a new one, and honestly, mate, it was the best 2 months of my life. You had no phone,
just out there in the mud, getting stuck in. Wow,
and it's like 32 degrees and 100% humidity. It was hot, but it was it was the best time of my life, and to have that satisfaction, like you've helped somebody, it's just a great feeling, because they really appreciate it. They'll use it every day of their lives, and it was honestly the best time of my life. And then after the 2 months, they decided to get drunk for for 6 months in Australia. Yeah, traveled the East Coast, which was unreal, amazing, and lived in Bondi Junction, so pretty much Bondi Beach. Yeah, for like 5 months, 6 months.
What was Bondi Beach like, or the junction?
So good. It's just hot all the time. It's just such a good vibe. Like they're all surfer people.
Yeah, just chilled. Back,
just like
living life.
Yeah, like sound. The music was amazing. Like, it was just just where you want to be. I would happily live there, to be honest. Happily live there, yeah. You know, I mean, I was living hostel to hostel.
Yeah.
Sometimes homeless because you couldn't find a hostel.
Wow.
So you're literally like living on the beach. I sat on the beach one time with my bag.
To be honest, if there was anywhere I was going to be
homeless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be on the streets.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be in the streets of Manchester.
No. But yeah, and then I came back, and then the pandemic hit, and I work at Tesco. I've been working at Tesco for a while. I've been there, but I've always wanted to get out, right? But obviously the pandemic hit, so I was there for 2 years, and then now I'm still there. So it's hard to have your Tesco job and then Rarity Found as well, but we're making it work. But yeah, I mean, it's really shit wage. Like, it's you know, it's awful, but at the same point,
pays for
it keeps you humble. It keeps you humble in the sense of, you know, even though you're getting a shit wage, you've got more time and more effort to put into Rarity Found. So yeah, and then here we are, to be honest. Yeah, I just wanted to talk in this podcast about mental health, and because I think it's a very big
general topic.
Just a massive topic. And I really wanted to just focus in on everybody's mental health, firstly, and just how, you know, depression is a killer. It really, really is. And anxiety and everything like that. It's a real big killer. And we've both been through it, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's a big, big topic, and that's what we wanted to discuss in this. Yeah, do you want to talk about our journey?
Yeah, just the whole Rarity Found journey.
Yeah, the Rarity Found journey. So we started off. So as I said, we met. We found an investor. We got the products. Shipped from China, which took ages. It took so long, didn't it? We got them, and then
with some hiccups along the way, we got them.
There was a few hiccups.
You know, it's not all smooth waters in business, as we've learned. You know, we went into this.
It's an absolute roller coaster.
Yeah, we went into this with such the mind frame of, you know, we'll just go with it. It'll be smooth sailing, and then all of a sudden, this massive wave just comes, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah,
and you know, it just kills the vibe. But you got to keep going because you know, you can't just let something take you out like that.
I think the key in this is that the investors, because you got investors, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to deliver on time with the money, and it got Mack and me really down. Quite a lot of stages. That's why I'm saying it's a roller coaster.
Do you feel comfortable talking about some of that? Because I'll have.
Yeah. Do you?
yeah.
I think you know, when you have a month of no sales at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we hit the pre-sales really hard. We smashed it, but then that's all friends and family. Like, people want to buy it, and then, you know, you hit this wave like, okay, so we're gonna sell to the public now.
Yeah. And you're just kind of pushing it out there and hoping, really, weren't we?
Yeah,
we was just like, fingers crossed, let's hope someone finds it. You know, we was doing all we could in terms of marketing and everything that we could, but it was just like,
I think every avenue that we went down,
it was just
getting blocked off.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Like, talking about mental health, that's hard on your mind. Well, your mind, because you get depressed. You're like, what is working? But then you get this in business. I mean, we're only right at the start.
Yeah, we are nowhere near the end point.
Everywhere, everybody who's run a business, even like the big ones, like, you know, like Warren Buffett, Stephen Bartlett. I don't know why I'm putting Warren Buffett and Stephen Bartlett in the same in the same group. Yeah, it's I just had Stephen Bartlett at the top of my head. Yeah. But anyway, the big ones and anybody who runs a business will know that you've got to fail so many times, and that one yes is the key, the absolute key.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we've been on an absolute roller coaster.
Man.
But we've both picked each other up, and I think that's the key in this. Because like sorry, I keep rambling.
No,
but
of course
motivation dropped, and then, you know, I think we both said it to each other at one point. We were like, is there any point, like, we've lost motivation? Like,
yeah, we was just at an all-time low, really, when it came down to what we was doing next and how what do we try next and how do we go from there. And we were both just in a state of like, how do we turn the ship around? Because it just felt like every day more water was just filling in and we was just kind of sinking. But it's also a mindset thing. We was just in the state of like excitement at the beginning. We were so pumped to get going, but as anyone should with business. But then it was just like just like a plummet.
Crashed.
And you know, it's one of them things. I think every business starts off like that. I think no matter what you do, you can't expect people to just sell out. You know, we was trying to like sell out in months, and it was like, when you look back on it now, it's like, that was so unrealistic. But
I think the key in this is we went into Rarity Found thinking, right, we've got the message, like we'll be sound. Like we'll smash it. And then, you know, reality hit really hard.
Yeah.
It's not just an overnight thing. Like it's gonna be a long haul. But at the same time, that's what it you know what it should be. To be honest, it's not gonna sell out all of a sudden.
Do you feel comfortable chatting about your kind of experience in terms of mental health through this journey? Because I know we've both been through quite a lot. If you want to start with with you, tell us a little bit about.
In fact, you start yours. I just rambled on for
okay, cool.
the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. Right, I guess it was just kind of like because obviously this was something, like I was just saying in the story, this was something that I wanted to do for so long and get going with. When it kind of happened, it happened quite quick, didn't it, at the beginning?
Yeah.
Because I got, pretty much to explain, I got Rarity Found to a point with the clothing where I'd found suppliers, I've created designs, and these were just designs that I created like a year before anything. So realistically, big red flag there. We should have checked the designs and gone over that. So it's like, there was a lot of things along the way that we've learned. Yeah. You know, we've learned from mistakes. So as soon as we kind of got the funding from the investors, and obviously we partnered up, it was just like a big green button and we was just like, press go. Just trusting gut. So it was so exciting. It was like, everything's going well. We were placing the orders. And then it kind of got to the stage where it was coming to the end of the order and we was getting ready to ship, where it was like, big deal. How
did you feel when, you know, the orders come in?
When the order was coming, I was just like, oh shit, this is getting real. I was like, this is crazy. Like, it's coming. Never did I expect to be having what it was like a quarter of a container of boxes coming over for what one I planned for and two we partnered up for. It's like, what the hell is going on? It was really exciting.
Did you feel nervous?
Yeah. I felt very nervous because obviously we had the investors put the money in, and it was like, what if we don't sell anything? What if it doesn't go anywhere? What if it's just sat there? Kind of like a lot of it is at the moment, and you know, we'll talk about that whilst we go through the journey, and we're just kind of, it was just a bit mind-boggling as well because it was just so surreal because it was happening so quick. But yeah, as it got to the end of that order, started coming on some little bumps, and then that turned into a bit of a wave. We won't go too much into that because it's all financials and stuff, but that was like the first big hit, I think, for both of us. And then when it got to that point, it was just like, how do we get out of it? It was very much a thing of like, oh, shit, is this the end already? Like, what's happening next? And it was just very stressful, and I know both of us were like, just all over the place, stressed. And we hadn't even got the stock in at this point. It wasn't even with us. It was like, you know, and it was just crazy. But I got to a point after that, especially after we did all the pre-sales, that was a high. It was like, great. And then after we pushed it out, like we were saying then, and it just wasn't going anywhere, I got to a point where it really affected me. And I wasn't leaving the house. I was just staying in. I didn't want to go outside. Bearing in mind, I was living in the Canaries at this point. So it's like, wow, is there no reason to go outside? There's a beach 10 minutes down there. But I was just at that state of mind where it was like, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit in this little cave where my bed's not made and I'm just in the dark. And it's like, I just don't want to see anyone, don't want to do anything. I'm just going to crack on with work and hope for the best. And wasn't really communicating anything to anybody around me, like my dad or my mentor or anything like that. It was just like I was keeping everything to myself, and that really did make things worse, because definitely one thing I've learned along the way is the longer you leave it, the worse it gets. You know, if you don't speak out about your problems, that's just, you know, you're just asking for it there. So I just got to that point where it's like, I do not want to do anything. And it took a massive mental toll on me, where it was just ended up in a breakdown. And I was just like, you know.
Did everybody around you help you?
Yeah. It was very much a thing of, because people didn't see it, obviously. I was hiding it away, as many men do. You know, I think you've got this thing where we've kind of grown up in a bit of a society where it's like, oh, you know, men are supposed to be strong, which we'll talk about in a bit. So I just didn't speak about it. I didn't want to confront it. It was very much my own mind. I didn't want to confront what was wrong. So I was just keeping it all in, bottling it in, which is the worst thing to do, as we know. But after, you know, it came out in a bad way, because it was kind of being confronted with what I've done wrong. And it obviously isn't nice to hear, but it's like good, because I was able to say, I'm so glad that somebody else has been able to speak about it, because now I can let out. And I remember literally I was sat there with my dad, because he's, you know, I look up to my dad so much. He's been through so much in life, and he is like my number one person, like my hero, really. And I was sat there with my mentor, Chris,
who will be on the podcast soon. Hopefully.
Well, hopefully, if we can convince him, we'll see. And he helps out with Rarity Found as well. And I was just sat there at the table in the back garden of the house over in the Canaries, and it was just like a bit of a telling off, really, which I needed, because I needed a reality check, because I'd got into this state for the business as well, and also myself, and it was like, if you don't pull yourself out of this, it's only going to get worse. And I was like, it's like when you're really sad and someone asks, are you okay? And you're like, no. And you just start. That's it. Yeah. It was very much one of them, but it had been bottled up for months. I just let go. I was crying my eyes out. It was a bit of a mess. Like, and I'm open to talk about that, because that's what I think men should do. Life's not easy. Life is not easy, no matter what you go through, whether it's relationships, business in our case, day-to-day living. It gets stressful, man. Money, everything. So,
did you feel like if you cried, you felt weak?
At the time, no.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the best thing to do, and I just needed a big hug, and I needed to get over it. I needed to say, right, okay, get my shit together, move on, and you know, that's what happened, and it was one of them. But before, obviously, all of that, I thought, I can't say anything about this.
Yeah.
Like, why would I? I'm a young lad. I've not realistically got the biggest problems in the world. That's how I was thinking. Like, my problems mean nothing, but it was like, they do at the end of the day. So yeah, that you know, and then from there, we'll talk about kind of what's helped us, you know, out of it, after we've heard a little bit about your journey as well through it all, which I know is quite personal. But yeah, that was kind of just my overall experience through it so far. Just to say, at the moment, it's going pretty well, I'd say. We've really turned it around, which, you know, I'm really happy at the moment. Life's good.
Yeah.
So there's not much to complain about, but it's just one of them things where everything just comes in at once, and when that happens, the best thing to do is to reach out to somebody. Yeah. Talk to somebody, even if it's, you know, a family member, your friend. It could be anyone. Just talk to someone that you trust about it, and help yourself, because it's, like I said a minute ago, the longer you leave it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, the more you bottle it up. I
think exactly. It's just
the reason why I said, did you feel weak when you cried, is because, you know, a lot of men, I mean, we'll touch on the subject later on, but a lot of men feel like if they cry, they'll feel weak, they'll look weak. And, you know, back in the old days, like if you had depression, if you had anxiety, and you let it out, you'd look weak. Like, you'd look, oh, like, why is he crying? He should be a man. Like, he should be doing this, should be doing that.
I think because the ideology in society is the men are the breadwinners. Yeah, it's very much a thing of like, hustle, get the money in, provide, whatever it be, which is completely different now. You know, a lot of families are the complete opposite, but I think that's because how it was, like, you know, tens of years ago or whatever it be, and even in some cases still, it's a thing of, a man can't cry. Yeah. Why is he sad? What problems has he got? It was very much one of them things, and
should be a man.
Yeah. I think
should be strong.
I think I was reading up on some statistics about this, and I think it's like 1 in 8 men have problems in terms of mental health or whatever it be, or any sort of thing that is affecting them day to day. When you put that in perspective, 1 in 8 men, there could be 8 men in this room right now, and one of us has got something going on that's really affecting them, whether it be depression, anxiety, whatever it be. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, should I talk
Yeah,
about it?
have a little chat. We just kind of went on a little...
Yeah, we went on a bit of a side route.
But yeah, have a little chat about, you know, how you felt throughout the whole process so far. And
yeah, so before we got the stock, so when it was in China, you know, I was very excited. I was like, this is what I wanted to do. This is, you know, clothing company. Love my clothes. Yeah. I'm proper materialistic, even though a lot of my friends would say that I'd have shit taste in clothes. But
I remember
fuck you thing.
I remember right at the beginning when we first ever, like the first call we had. I think it was with your dad, because obviously he introduced us. And I just remember you were so excited about the whole general idea that I had, and you was like, yeah, let's fucking go. And I was like, finally someone else that's excited about it.
Yeah, it goes back to my story with the, you know, not to follow the herd.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always wanted to be in business. I think,
yeah.
You know, like looking up to my dad, because my dad's got a successful business, you know, you look at it and you think, I want a piece of that pie. Yeah. And always, my mentality is always like, I want to be better than him. Yeah. And, you know, that's always going to be my mentality. Like, yeah, my dad's my role model and stuff, but I always said to him, I was like, I'm going to be better than you. And he's like, I love it. Yeah. If you can be better, if you can be more successful than me, I'll
good on you kind of thing. Yeah.
Because, you know, like everybody helps everybody out in business that I found as well.
Definitely.
Anyway, with my mental health with this, it got very, very... to a point where I was a bit like, oh shit, like we've got ourselves in a very, very big hole, and
sticky situation.
We can't get out of it. Especially when investors are like on your case 24/7. You know, saying like, oh, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Like, you know, it gets a bit real, and I always remember, this is a bit personal, but I'm happy to share it. I remember I was upstairs just looking at my computer, and I was just like, what avenue do we go down now? Because there's so many avenues that we've gone down, and it's just not worked. And I remember coming downstairs and I just started crying in front of mum and dad. Yeah. And when you said with the thing, like, you need to get it out. That was the point where I was just like, right, you know, I'm seriously down about this. Not necessarily depressed, but down.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was depressed. No, I was just in a state of real sadness.
Yeah.
I think if I left it any longer, and I was just, like I was saying, in that room all the time, I think I would have probably fell into depression. Yeah. And I won't lie, it's
horrible.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling, knowing that you're heading to one place and one place only, because you can't talk out about it. But yeah. Sorry,
I think it's alright. I think I got so down at one point. It was after. I remember it was after a weekend out. I think we went to Newcastle for my mate's 21st. Yeah. And the week after, obviously, because I've been drinking all weekend, I came back on Monday, looking at the computer I was just a bit personal, but I was like, what's the point of being here? I was seriously thinking, what is the point of me being alive, kind of thing.
I've had the same thoughts.
Yeah, it hits you like, differently. Yeah. But then it's so selfish. It's so selfish, you know. Yeah. But you know, people go through that, and we have been through that, and it's a big problem. Yeah. You know, like you see all the statistics with, you know, like men have committed more suicide than women. Nothing on. We're here. Rarity Found with you, in both men and women, just everybody. Yeah. But it's a serious thing. Because it gets you fucked up in the head. Yeah. Big time.
When you're in that state where it's just like constant sadness, your mind just wanders.
Yeah, yeah.
And people won't understand, like, listening or watching what we're talking about unless they've been there. It's just like, you can't explain the thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, what if I did this?
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, I found.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's my
100%.
key quote. You got to keep going.
Yeah,
if you keep going,
no matter what.
And then, like, the week after, I was really down. It was the best week of my life.
Yeah, literally.
It's such a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But another topic that I wanted to talk about is how linking it is men's mental health in a relationship. So in a relationship, especially the breakup, because I mean, I don't know about you, I've been through a few breakups, even though I'm 21.
Yeah, can't say I've been through anything too serious.
Yeah, but it's you know, right. So when the breakup happens, I feel personally that men suffer worse than women, because men, you have demons in your head thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
Why am I in this mess right now?
What is going on?
Yeah.
And I've been through it personally. You know, the first we talk about crying, like, we crying in front of a girl, you feel like, oh fuck, like, now you look weak, and it's not. It's not even that. I really truly believe that if you cry, it's best. It's the best thing for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, men's mental in the whole situation is fucked up, because women have lads falling at their feet. Yeah. Let's be honest, and we're looking. We've always been hunting, like, even when we were bloody chimpanzees, we've always been hunting. And women have always been like, oh, the men can do it, kind of thing. That's a bit of a random.
I get what you mean, though. It's like, no matter what you go through, no matter how strong the relationship is, in the end, I always feel like I've seen things on, like, Instagram and stuff as well, and it's like the relationship won't work if the men's more in love than the woman, or you know, just things like that, and it just makes me think, like, why? Well, like, it either way, I believe it should be equal. Like, if you're in a relationship and it's committed, but when it ends, it's like, who's affected more, the man or the woman? Who gets over it quicker? Yeah, I think I read something, and it was a while ago. Hold on. Yeah. Because I can see you just had a little light bulb moment. I read something a while ago, and I think it said something like men take about roughly 6 months to get over somebody, whereas women, it's like half of that. Yeah. And it's like,
don't get me wrong, right? Women, like, if you're in a long-term relationship, say, I don't know, a year, 2 to however many, 6.
Yeah.
The women, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's like they get. Oh God, I'm stumbling on my words.
Yeah. Go on, get it out. Spit it out. Man.
The women, as I said, always have people chasing them. So if they're in a strong relationship with somebody and they break up, obviously they're gonna get hurt by it. Both parties are gonna get hurt, but they can move on because they know that they can get somebody else with a snap of the fingers. Yeah. And men literally just can't. Yeah. But I mean, don't get me wrong, some guys can, and if the relationship hasn't been going for a while, like going right for a while, then, you know, they'll move on. But what I wanted to ask you, just flipping back to your story, what did you do to get over your mental health?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. I think after I kind of had that conversation, and it was very much just get it all out, move on. I was quite lucky because where I was at the time, obviously in the Canaries.
It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad. I used that to my advantage, really. The sun was shining, the beach was right there, and I just made a conscious effort to get out, get in the water, just make the most of life, really. Just be grateful is very much a thing that I kind of fell into, which is still, you know, how I treat every day. It's like, what have I got to complain about? What is wrong today? If there's nothing, why am I not happy? Why do I feel sad if I do? So I think it was just like, get out there. I started like paddle boarding and stuff like that, just getting out there on the water.
So you're 17.
Yeah. I should have started with that.
You shouldn't be like going through this, but you are, because you've stepped out.
Yeah.
Stepped out of your comfort zone, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I know. That I guess it's like, sometimes I just think about it. I step back and I think the amount of, not in like a egotistical way, but the amount of stuff that I've been through compared to some of my mates that I know who are at college and doing A-levels and stuff is like, wow. Like, that's crazy. Like the journey compared to a regular, if I was just to stay in college and I was just going to become a graphic designer or a video editor or whatever I was going to do until I stepped into the line of business kind of thing, it's like, wow, would I be who I am today without the lessons that I've learned along the way? But yeah, I just made a conscious effort, going back to your question, just a conscious effort to really get out there, work in the bars down in town, speak to people, meet people, just throw myself in the deep end really, and that really helped me. Just being out there, because I was stuck in that room all the time. It's like I didn't want to be there. It was like I wanted to be completely out of there all the time. And it's something that I do now. If I've got a bit of work to do, I'll nip down to Costa or whatever it be. But yeah, that's kind of what helped me. Alongside people like my dad and stuff like that, just being around people. People was massive for me, because it was, I wanted to be surrounded by people that I love and can have a good time with, because it was just kind of like what made me into that situation, and how can I flip the situation around? And it was just like getting out, getting to know people and being around people that I love. That was really what it was, and just the consciousness of it.
Yeah.
What about you? What kind of helped you step out of it all?
Two things: music and gym. The gym has been my absolute best friend at the minute.
That's a common one, don't you find? If someone goes through a breakup or a hard time, it's always get in the gym, hustle, head down.
I don't think we've got enough time to.
No, let's not go into all the gym.
But
I'll sum it up before you get into it. Okay. Massive gym freak. There you go.
I'm not a gym freak. It's just you just gotta eat. But you go to the gym, you put your headphones on, and whatever you've got in that day, you let the steam out, you let the anger out, and you bring all of your mental problems to the gym. And like if you're benching or you're squatting, deadlifting, you can get it all out, and you'll feel so much better for it. You're just in like a different element. Completely. Like when you said I wanted to meet people, I already had I've got friends that would be like like you're right kind of thing. I'm not saying you don't have friends. I didn't mean it like that. I meant as in like meeting people is not a thing. Well, I'm a confident person, I like to think. But going to the gym by yourself in your own mental state, and getting it all out is the key, and just putting music on, just want to absolutely go for it. I think that's how I've got through it, and just talking to people. That's the third one, just talking to people. As I said,
jumping on the back of that, I came back to the UK last September, and I think from September to now I've changed so much, because I've been away from family, and I've just been kind of plodding along in life on my own, met some amazing people, been with my friends. I've definitely seen a change in happiness and just my whole general mood and confidence. So I think like I was saying, just the people is absolutely huge.
I think being surrounded by people that want the same thing as you kind of thing.
No, yeah, definitely. It's like a support bubble, isn't it?
If you have people that, just, as I said, want to go the direct route of uni, all that, like, it's all good, but you're going to come out with a job that's going to be like 40, 50 grand. Whereas we want to be making that, like, we've got the mindset, the successful mindset.
We want that weekly.
Like
that's where we want to be.
And
I think it's just like, it's the whole thing. We could talk about this for ages. The whole
we
thing
haven't got a lot of time.
The whole thing of the rat race compared to entrepreneurship and doing your own thing. It's like, would you want to be stuck in a 9-to-5 job where you get home and you're miserable and you got to sleep, live for the weekend kind of?
I think we're working for ourselves. I think this is the key. I don't know if because you're 17. I don't know if you worked for somebody else.
No.
But like working for somebody else, especially when you know, say Tesco for example, especially when you work for somebody and then you got your own business in the background.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I'm running my own business. You'd be a bit more firm.
Yeah.
With what if they tell you something that you'll be like, hold on a second, like you don't need to say that. You can be firm. You can be like firm with yourself.
Yeah.
And firm in there.
It's funny you say that because since we've started the Rarity Found journey, have you found yourself saying no to a lot more things, like going out?
Yeah.
Because you're a lot more focused.
Well,
not necessarily just going out, but you know, saying no to a lot more things because you're driven now and you've got a bit more of a route compared to just being in this loop where it's like living for the weekend and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
apart from obviously your Tesco stuff, because it's obviously balancing the both.
Yeah, that I think when you see all the people like going out every weekend, every day, you know, you just think to yourself, I'm on a journey here.
Yeah.
And this journey is going to pay off at some point. Don't know when, don't know how, don't know who with.
Yeah, but it will.
With you, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But it will be successful. And I believe in that. And if you go to The Secret, if anybody who's read The Secret,
good book.
Yeah, it's a very good book. You've got
on books.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, there we
go. You've got a goal. If you dream it, you're gonna get it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about everything.
I think we have. Thank you for listening. I mean, it's I don't know about you, Mack, but it's been good for me just to let it out.
Let it out, yeah. Talk about it.
We're trying to create a platform, so it gives people to go to the platform to actually talk to us, and we feel like if people do talk to us, then it will feel better because we're helping other people as well. We're sending a very positive message with Rarity Found, you know, to find the real you, to actually follow your dreams as we've talked about, and try and have the mindset to be successful, and to, you know, not follow the herd. Yeah, is the key.
Changing perspective as well. That's all we want to do. We want to empower you at home, the younger generation, whoever it be, and really kind of help you at home. So get speaking. Talk to people. If you've got something going on, feel free to reach out to us as well. Other than that,
at Rarity Found on Instagram, not shouting us out or anything.
And every other platform.
Yeah, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. This will be up on YouTube. Hopefully Spotify if we can get the audio.
Whatever platform you're listening or watching on. We
shout
appreciate it.
Shout out to the Big Condo as well for recording this.
Yeah.
Chase, the big guy. Thank you so much for listening, watching. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Stay safe.